Hello everybody and welcome to the Comb Racing League. CRL is back, we're on F123 and I'm joined today by Jack, or Glowstick.
Hello.
So,
I don't know what else to say.
Hello. Well, pre-season test here. Both our first times commentating F123, so be a bit patient, tell us if the audio balance is naff, and hopefully we do a decent job. New grid of drivers as well. 3 reserves, 4 drivers who've just kind of not appeared. So you've got to get used to new graphics as well. Tyres looking different. Nice upgrade from the last game, but here at COTA, what's the first car out on track? Looks to be Tigriff. Man familiar in the tier 2 names. Can't remember. I seem to remember he did really well in the championship and didn't win any actual races. I might be getting that slightly wrong, but either way, Tigriff, a familiar name for any of our tier 2 long-time viewers.
Okay, the audio balance seems alright.
Nice, that's good. Don't want to be deafening our viewers or not actually being heard.
Quite short on drivers tonight. Of course, unfortunately, no one driving for Alfa Romeo, but I guess it's just pre-season, so
Yeah, well,
doesn't matter too much.
We've got 3 reserves in for today. A lot of the drivers kind of less bothered by the pre-season test in itself. It's always good from kind of comms perspective to get used to everything, back in the rhythm of things for the start of the season.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk through the reserves we've got? I'm trying to find the list.
I know Carl is a reserve. Apart from that, I don't know who else is a reserve.
Oh, okay.
But I'll run you through a lap with Tigriff as we come up to the steep uphill of turn 1, braking just before the white line. You want to clip that apex nicely, getting the power not too early. Come around turn 2, and then we have the lovely flowing S's of turn 3, 4, 5, and now 6. Sweeping right-hander, sector 1 is a 25.3. Uphill of right-hander, and then a left-hander. Don't want to go too wide, otherwise you will invalidate. Want to keep it in between the white lines. Braking in between the 50 and the 100. Clipping that apex nicely, does Tigriff. Now we open up the DRS and go down. I'm pretty certain it's along the straight on this track. Braking just before the 100. Now we come up to the sector 2 split. It's a 103.009. Then we come through this left-hander here. And then we go under the thing, and then right-hander where Verstappen famously got a penalty for undertaking Kimi Räikkönen on the final lap. Or is it Sebastian? I can't remember. But anyway, coming up to the line, opens up the DRS. It's a very free.
There we go.
Very solid lap from Tigriff there.
Yeah, very solid driver. So while you were doing that, I was having a look through the list to see who the reserves are. So both Ferraris are the full-time drivers. We've only got 1 Alpine Racing, which is the full-time driver. Then neither Alfa Romeo driving, as you mentioned. There are 2 Aston Martins, as IDS puts it second fastest at 1:33.4, medium time of 33.6 for Dylan. That is a good show from him. So to get back to it, the Aston Martin drivers, there's no provisional pole for Hobbsley by 4 tenths. Tier 2 boys showing what they're made of. Keep getting interrupted by how well everyone is driving. So the Aston Martin drivers racing today, we've got Demorts and Steiny. Demorts is reserving for Farrell. Steiny, one of the full-time boys. I think also Ennis is reserving for Mercedes, replacing Jet for this pre-season test race. Then both Hasses are the originals. Legend is joining alongside Nelly Safi, who's just gone second fastest. Legend Reserve, and I think a new name, certainly not one I personally recognise. Might have been raced in CRL before, but not to my knowledge. Both the two Red Bulls are the full-time drivers. Carl is reserve for McLaren, so only one McLaren driver, and it's neither the two full-time boys, interestingly. And then for AlphaTauri, it is the two drivers, De Will and Ids. Both very, very strong drivers. De Will in the past has won 2 of the Tier 1 championships, so always a man to watch out for. Maybe not quite as fast as he once was, but certainly still got the experience to back himself up.
But I reckon Delano can go at least 5 tenths quicker, maybe 6 with a new pair of softs. Of course, that medium time is currently the only medium runner in this session. That's a very good time, especially on a pair of mediums.
Well, yeah, I saw him put them on. I was wondering what's he doing, but of course, always worth getting a banker in, seeing how you compare up to the rest of the grid. Dylan, a driver I've seen around a little bit. I think he's just reserved in the past. Now got himself a full-time seat for what will be a 12-round season. Joining the driver I definitely don't recognise, ERO Strange, and the other Red Bull is Tango 7th fastest. Have you seen Strange's name before?
No, this is a new name for me. I can tell you another thing, that Legend, I've never really seen his name around either, but it's good to have new drivers, and especially quick ones.
Yeah, I think for me the new ones here are Legend, Kryko and Strange. The rest of them I've all seen in CRL racing before. Some of them, I mean, AJ Wuhan, one of the 3 original head admins, being here from the very start, been running the show behind the scenes, and always out there on track. I think he's raced every CRL round. He might have missed 1 or 2, but always putting on a good show. Always Legend invalidating on the second last corner there. Gonna have to go around again. However, his ERS not in his favour, of course. I'm just burnt it up. So he set a 33.3, I think that said. Wasn't quite paying enough attention. No, 33.7, sorry, he set. But of course an invalidated one, so does not count towards his time. I'm not going to be pushing it again this lap. Let's see if we can find someone who is on a lap. I suspect, yeah, Tango is on an in lap. So who can we find who is going round? I think the next man might be one of the Hasses I can see near the end. Tigriff on an outlap, getting ready to start his lap soon. The man currently 3rd fastest, just shy of 4 tenths behind the leader. Holla, Nathan in the chat. Watching his brother race while knowing he's in a higher tier. Always competition between those two. So here we go, Tigriff once again.
Of course, brother rivalry.
Oh yeah, of course.
WXGS1.
Good luck J&J tonight. Thank you, thank you.
Who's that said that?
Nathan again.
Alright, cheers Nathan.
There's Tigriff a 10th up in the 1st sector. So about halfway through the qualifying session now. The vast majority of the drivers setting their fastest laps on 1 lap old softs. Jacob down in 9th on 2 lap old softs. But of course not that much difference, it could just be an early invalidation, therefore keeping the tyres nice and fresh. So come in here, about to start. Oh, goes a bit wide there Tigriff, possibly over the white lines. But he is now nearly 4 tenths. By my maths, if he can keep the same last sector he managed last time, this will be provisional pole for the Haas driver. As long as the stewards don't bash him too much for taking mild track liberties. Legend getting a bit of support in the track. The Williams driver still in the pits after his previous invalidation. In fact, the only driver in the pits at the moment is Tigriff, rounding the second to last bend. Where's he going to put it? Is he going to get on provisional pole? We saw how quick he was through the first 2 sectors, and yes, he is by 2 thousandths. So close, but provisional pole for the moment for Tigriff. Next man, Demorts, and he, no, just starting his lap. It seems not a push on the previous one. Trying to see which driver will be the next one to the line. Give me a shout if you work it out.
I think it's Carl coming around the final corner now.
No, Carl was on an outlap, but Dylan will be setting a time here.
An
And the man now on the softs, and there we go. That's the difference from softs to mediums. 9 tenths for him as Ids moves up to P4. De Will soon to the line. What can the twice Tier 1 champion do? He can do P2, slotting in just behind Dylan.
Yep. And now Kriko.
My
like
goodness.
4 tenths, wow.
Now that is the name
What a lap.
I don't think either of us have seen before, so certainly establishing his place in CRL, possibly risking getting knocked straight up to Tier 1 with pace like that. Usually a bit of a shuffle around after the first 2 or 3 rounds. So if he can keep that pace up, you wonder if you might see him saying goodbye to Tier 2 and popping in to join the Tier 1 boys. Yellow flag there, I think it's just for drivers going slow. Is this Strange to the line? It is Strange, 33.0. Currently P9 for him, while he is nearly, in fact no, he is 7 tenths behind the provisional pole. He's actually only 3 tenths behind P2. The lead Kriko has massive there. It's a legend on...
Demorts. Just improving to 7th there. It's very close, but then Kriko just comes out of nowhere 4 tenths quicker, and it's absolutely insane.
Carl, next man to improve. What can he do? No, not quite improving. A bad last sector from him. Dylan pulling into the pits. I'm trying to see the next man will be. It's Nelu Safu, quarter of a second up from the first 2 sectors. This could be him straight up to P2. We know he's fast. He is fast. And there we go. It is P2 for the Williams. Man, his teammate only just starting his first lap now after invalidating the previous attempt. For the moment, watch Tango through the last part of the last sector, rounding the final bend. Where's he going to slot in? Only had a little bit of improvement in the first 2 sectors, quite a way off the field though. 33.3, and you wonder if he's struggling around this track, doesn't have a right setup. Something's going on, because Tango, normally a very quick driver, always impressive.
Jacob as well, he was about to set a lap, but then he just pivot into the pits. I don't know why. But
yeah. Interesting. Well, of course, pre-season testing, not every driver is going to be gunning to win. Some of them are going to be testing.
Well, you know.
Yeah, if you want to practice your overtakes, start further down the order. Simulate bad qualifying. And maybe some drivers won't be simulating it, they will be having one, but... Legend here behind his teammate Nelly Safu.
I'm a little bit surprised from Tango. You said he's a quick driver. I would have maybe expected him to get top 10, but seeing him down in 13th, maybe he's just still trying to get used to the game. But I don't know how long he's had the game for, but
yeah,
just testing things out, I guess.
We'll see in the race. Legend a 1:13.4 down in P14 for the CRL rookie. Not many out on track at the moment. I guess everyone waiting for that last mad dash. You've got 16 drivers. I don't see any sign of that changing in the Discord. Yeah, Dylan's also calling Kriko to Tier 1 for you. Tier 1 is calling at you. We'll see how long that move ends up taking to happen, or if it is just this is his best track. He'll get this one win and then kind of join the rest of the pack, but you can see how small some of the gaps are between drivers. I mean, you look at Tigriff in P5 down to Demorts in P8, 4 drivers separated by 1/100th of a second. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy close. As we see Jacob setting out for his I'm suspecting his final lap. Of course, the only Alpine driver tonight. Can't remember who his teammate was though. I can't remember who he got from the pool.
So Jacob is going to be alongside Victor. Victor. Again, another name I've not seen before, so we'll have to see how he does. For the moment, we're going to hop on board again with T-Griff. So I think he's about to finish. No, he's just about to start a lap, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll watch him for a little bit until Jacob AJ Wuhan starts his lap. What can the man do at the moment? Half a second needed, or actually just over 4/10 needed to catch the next driver ahead of him. Steiny as well, still needing a clean lap himself.
Yeah.
He's invalidated.
He's
At
invalidated.
least it was early on in the lap, gives him time to recharge that DRS, not too much wear on the tyres. Okay, we'll hop on board then with AJ Wuhan. So here we go. What can a driver who spent plenty of time in Tier 1 do? Let's see. Of course, we have yet to mention actually in this stream, now 5 tiers in CRL, hence why Tier 2 was just overall improved in pace. A lot of these drivers previously were in Tier 1, so the old Tier 2 kind of split a little bit between here and Tier 3. Plenty of familiar names, plenty of ones we've seen bounce up and down between Tier 1 and 2, but here we go, first sector flying through these fast corners. So much fun if you get them right. And there we go, quarter of a second up, small mistake there by him. Decent.
Yeah, as you say, very, very fun if you do get them right. You can just sweep for the corners, not have any worries. As always, locked up the rears a little bit going through there.
That's the second time we've had to see him steer for the corner, have to turn out and steer back in again, as I mentioned, the lock up. No one's given him any cheeky slipstream going down back straight. The other driver I guess to keep an eye on is going to be Steiny. He's just started what will be his final lap. Jacob will have time for one more, 4.5 up. That's only P14. And Legend will be trying to improve himself.
As he comes through the right-handers, you get these right, you don't want to run too wide. Ooh. As he's just done.
Hang on. You've been caught on the stream, Jacob.
That valid.
Well, a lot of the drivers know how to not do it. So he does improve, does not gain any positions. Let's see what the stewards did there. I'm sure might get a little bit of grief for that one. Don't want to get caught on stream doing that, as we are obliged to snitch on them. Maybe less strict in the pre-season testing, but once the championship kicks off, stuff like that, the drivers will be risking a quali ban if they complete that lap and improve their time. So Steiny nearly running deep there, quarter of a second green, but needs almost an entire second here.
Yeah, he's not having the best of his laps, is he, Steiny? Maybe this isn't one of his best tracks, but as he comes through the right-handers, and now the left.
Yeah, T-Griff up to P3 now. A few drivers finishing, pulling into the pits. Steiny with the 5th driver to end the session. What can he do? Still P16, not able to improve. It's behind him, Carl going P7. I think that was strange. Just no, it was the other Red Bull, Dylan into P5. The two. Right, and I'm trying to see who's next. I'm losing track. Kryko will be the next man to the line. Now, is he improving? No, does not appear to be. He'll be pulling into the pits slower than before. We will hop on board with Strange, currently P12. But a few tenths here, just 2 tenths could be massive in terms of starting position. And he finds nearly 1/10, still gains places. D-Morts.
I don't know, is the next is
D-Morts? P6. And that is hang on, I think a Ferrari may have crashed into the pit wall there.
Yeah, that was nosy. Crashing into the pit wall, and Nello missing out on pole by a tenth. And so now we wait for Legend up to the line. Stays P14.
Yeah, but there we go. That concludes the first qualifying session of Tier 2 Season 9. Good to be back.
Yeah, good to be back.
See the time gaps. I mean, the front two kind of in a league of their own here a little bit. Nelly Safi did join Kryko towards the end, and again we apologise with the new drivers for saying your names wrong. Ooh, hang on a second. Who was that? That was a glitch because everyone on trials. Yeah, Carl.
That was Carl.
So hopefully he informs the lobby host for that, as that can be a lobby reset. Get that removed. So there's a chance of a lobby reset here, as we said, but here we go. Here's our order. So at the top, as we saw, Kryko on pole position, lining up alongside Nelu Safu. Then Haas, two drivers in the top three. Tigriff in third, looking to be a very strong team early days. Followed by Ids alongside him. Then Dylan and the reserve D-Morts, P6. DeWill, Carl, Hobbs, and Tango finishing out the top 10. Then Strange, Ennis, Knowlesy, and Legend down to P14, and finishing up the back row will be AJ Wuhan and Steiny, the top 13 drivers, 7 tenths.
I'm just a bit surprised from Steiny. I don't know what went wrong in the qualifying for him. It's not like him to be that far down, really. But yeah, hopefully. I don't know if we are going to have a lobby restart, but hopefully Steiny has a better race.
Right, so they are not going to restart the lobby due to it just being a pre-season race. Just want to keep things running nice and smooth. But if that were during the actual season, this would be a lobby restart to avoid Carl getting that glitched 5-second grid place penalty.
Yeah, that's fair. It's only pre-season, but yeah.
So drivers choosing their setups, choosing their strategy. See what kind of tyres everyone chooses to start on. 16 car grid, so while not the complete 20 we'll be seeing when the season's underway, still going to work your way through if you're starting at the back. Here we go, formation lap about to begin. Just I assume it's a formation lap. I think we have it on. Oh no, we don't. Lights out and away we go. Kryko on the outside, cutting across, and he's done a good job here. So Tigriff trying to go around the outside of Nelu Safi, nearly around the outside of his teammate as well. The Haas is immediately into 1-2, running side by side. Nelu Safi met by a wall of Haas ahead of him. The two American cars leading the American Grand Prix. Further down the order, no spinners, only man on softs is AJ Wuhan, and actually it's to say no spinners, Steiny and Carl further down, contacting Ennis on hards as well. Just a yellow flag for the moment. The drivers coming through in formation, and immediately the front two drivers have flying through. Here we go, want that back on interval so I can see where overtakes are happening, considering a move there. Strange up the inside, sides better of it. Someone running deep, someone else having a little moment middle of the corner. Immediate jump into the action though.
Yeah, I didn't get to see the start because I was trying to sort out the audio because I didn't have any audio. And Tigriff already with a 3-second time penalty. That is
that's not ideal. So AJ is moving up the order here on the softs. An absolute send up the inside. Goes for one driver, tries for two. Doesn't quite get it on the outside. We'll see what the Alpine driver can do here. He's hungry to use his tyres when they're at their prime ahead. As you can see, two drivers side by side. That appears to be Tango and DeWill. DeWill coming out on top of that one. That experience coming into play. Is Kryko still holding out ahead of his teammate towards the front of the pack. Yeah, pit for Carl. That'll be front wing damage. Stein, it seems, got away with it.
But yeah, good starts from Strange and Legend and Jacob as well, making up 4 and positions respectfully.
Yeah, some people moving up. No one moved down too far. Ids is down 3 positions. Carl and Hobbsy also down 3, but of course Carl got involved in that incident that I don't think either of us caught. I certainly didn't catch it here from the stream's perspective. So
no, I didn't catch it either.
On to this back straight now. No DRS just yet, so we might not be seeing any moves too soon. The Hasses are close, they're 2/10. I don't think he wants to go for a move just yet, but certainly getting in nice and close. Actually, Jacob again on the softs going for another dive bomb up the inside, I would assume. Has the grip to do it from a long way back, and if there's an early safety car, that is really going to pay off for him if everyone dives into the pits. How many stops do you reckon this race is going to be?
I reckon. Oh. Well, it really depends on the safety cars. If there's going to be no safety cars, and it's going to be a clean race, we'll say. I reckon they'll only make 1 stop, so maybe medium to hard. So for, I guess for Jacob, soft to hard. The hards feel really good on this game. I don't understand why, but just the hards in general, they just feel really quite good.
Yeah, and of course, actually, the game's still been in their infancy. There is still a little bit of a risk that the physics might be slightly tweaked and changed, which could have an effect on the races. For the moment, I guess the drivers doing the best to learn what they can of the new game. From what I've heard, positive reception. Can't say I've driven it myself as of yet. I stick to the commentary box. Let them do the driving. As here we go, the Hasses are doing that driving bit. The DRS allowing Tigriff to get ahead of his teammate. Nelu Safi going to have a look. No, DRS too far back. Kryko only losing the 1 position to his teammate thus far. Turning in a little early there, Nelu Safi. These top 3 certainly seem to be just pulling away from everyone else.
Ooh, and I think one of the AlphaTaurs there had a bit of a moment coming out that tricky left-hander. I think that might have been it on them mediums, but yeah, just don't want to be losing them too much. Maybe they're already getting a bit hot, which is a bit of concern.
Yeah, still early days of tyres. You're really going to watch the deck, especially with no real side of safety car. No too heavy battles so far, but of course DRS only enabled last laps. There's still plenty of time for overtakes. And as we're saying, that Strange having a good look at the back of D-Morts, wanting to get past the reserve driver. See what he can do. Very tricky to follow, but of course if everyone's following in this first sector, then it's not just you suffering. Ooh, moment by Strange there. And that's ticking off the back of that Aston Martin, that is for sure. I think going to be a little bit too far to do anything here down the back straight. DRS accounted for. We'll have to see. Tango looking awfully close on the timing board. Maybe it'll be Hobbsy that goes for a move. Keeping an eye on those numbers. Not seeing any real chance of an overtake taking place here.
No moves happening so far, apart from Nosey and Ennis. Nosey going down the inside, but goes a bit deep, runs wide, gives Ennis the position back. Good fair play from Nosey there.
Yeah, of course. Ennis on the hard tyres, but he's going to have that disadvantage for the moment. The longer the stint goes on, the more it goes towards his favour. does mean for the moment he is under threat from the driver. With, I assume that is just a 3 second. Yeah, it is just a 3 second time penalty.
We see Strange up the back of thinking about it, going down the inside, and they've made a bit of contact, and Hobbsy has now gotten past AJ Luhan or Jacob.
Yeah, I did see him on the back of there the last lap. I thought it seemed a bit early for the soft tyres to be flagging a bit, but he was really pushing them, going for some crazy overtakes that he made work, but the tyre life gonna be hurt by that.
Hopefully Strange hasn't got a bit of damage from tapping the rear end of Demorts there going into turn 1. That was close to a disaster there for both of them.
Only kind of caught the tail end of it. No visible damage on the front wing. Could still be some very mild damage. Kind of doesn't quite warrant a pit stop, but if you end up pitting, then you will change it. And hang on, what is this? A change for P2. Kryko down another position. We did not see that one coming. I think that was a mistake by Kryko.
Yeah, it might have been pushing a little bit too hard on them early laps, sacrificing the tyre life just for pure, I guess, pressure on... Who was it that started him first?
It was Kryko.
Oh, it was Kryko.
Actually, the front three have flipped. So Tigriff started third, Nelly Safi started second, and Kryko started first. And they flipped their order. Nelly's still in the middle of the Haas sandwich. But I mean, this is just experience coming into play. Tigriff, Nelly Safi, we've seen them at the front time after time. They've both had their play. Oh, hang on, what's this? Further back down. They've both had their play in Tier 1.
Almost hitting, well, having to take avoiding action of Demorts there, had to go on the right of him to not avoid significant damage. But fortunately they didn't touch and they can continue their race.
Let's go the Norwegian goat. I don't know which the Norwegian driver is, I'm going to be honest. I think it was Legend, but I'm not sure.
I thought Legend was, what's it?
I don't want to miss up the Scandinavian ones, they'll be after me.
Danish.
Oh, hang on, Steiny, mistake by him further down, but for the moment we've got an overtake. Demort's on the outside of Dylan. What's going to happen here? He's trying to hold it up the inside, the two of them side by side. The Red Bull teammate just behind. And still not giving it up, but hang on, here we go. The other Red Bull barged his way through Strange, taking that opportunity, taking advantage of the battle to get past his own teammate as Dylan loses 2 positions in just 3 corners.
Don't know who the Norwegian goat is, though.
And I have no idea who Westy is either. I think you need to learn the drivers.
No idea who Westy is. No. Jacob is losing some positions here. He's lost 2 positions in the space of 2 corners. Them tyres really going off for him now. Now Strange going down the inside of Demort is finally making that move happen.
Yeah, there we
go. He's
go.
up to P4 now.
So we've had the same again. We had before we had Tigriff and Kryko swap positions and Nelly Safi stay in the middle, and this time we've had Demort stay in the middle and Strange and Dylan switch position. But Strange will be happy to get past them. I think he'll have the pace to start pulling away. We will see. Of course, it matters how good your exit is onto that back straight, how much the DRS is going to benefit your opponents. There's a moment there by Demorts. Wonderful news for Strange. And he'll be glad his teammate is threatening him from behind.
Steiny having a look at the rear end of Carl there, trying to get past him as he's just locked up his rear brakes there.
Sorry to interrupt here. Ids and Dylan side by side. I can't tell who's got it. The two Red Bull sister team fighting away, still side by side. Neither of them giving up the position just yet. The inside going to Dylan cutting off Ids. The end, I think, having to back away because you don't have the grip now. You've not got the right angle into the corner. And Dylan coming out. Ooh, Shu, a moment there. Might be a warning. And can DeWill capitalise from behind? No, choosing not to actually. A small lift there. Showing mercy to his teammate. And letting him hold on to that P7. It would not surprise me if the two of them were working together DeWill, a wonderful person, and I'm sure it's someone you definitely want as your teammate.
I don't know what Stein is doing, but
as Jacob
not
is
shifting
into
up.
the pit. Ooh, I wonder if that's a technical issue then. No word of it in the chat just yet.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening to Steiny here. Very interesting.
So
I don't
not
know if
hopped
one
him.
of his paddles is broken.
And I think Carl looking for P15 here into turn 1, going for the outside line, both of them on hards. Knowlesy on the fresh hards, braking later, the McLaren on the outside, side by side. Still keeping his nose in, actually better exit. Knowlesy struggled to get the power down and has to slot in behind Carl, despite having those fresher tyres underneath him. Oh, nearly a moment by Knowlesy there actually as well.
Seems like Steiny has gotten his issues sorted. I think he's going to come into the pit line to retire.
Yeah, I'm suspecting the same.
That's an unfortunate result from Steiny there.
It was better to get the bad luck out the way in the pre-season testing.
Yeah, that's true.
At the moment the race slightly settling down. Hopefully Steiny's car not going to come out and cause any issues. We'll see. I don't know if that pit lane issue is still a problem. Where is he? No, he's pulled out on track, and there he is right on the apex, getting in the way of DeWill. And oh my goodness, Tango, yeah, really suffering from that one there. So poor timing for them, but really not much they can do in that situation. Just got to work your best here. I have no idea. Why is there a camel that's farted in the chat? I'm not going to question it, as there's a yellow flag, and that is... no, that's Steiny's car just put into the side, I think. So nothing too much to worry about, and there we go. The car now vanished, not going to cause any more trouble out on the track, but it's, I think, going to have another go at Dylan here. You got any clue why there'd be a farting camel in the chat?
No idea, mate.
But here we go, AlphaTauri on the Red Bull. And that is, it's easily through. Nice clean overtake, got it on the straight, easily ahead by the braking zone, and the apex up to P6 for him.
It's still a half sandwich at the moment, but Nello has managed to close in.
Yeah.
To T-Griff, which is good to see. But it's still very close, up and down the field, which we like to see. We don't want one driver winning by like 20 seconds.
I say, as cynical as it may sound, it is nice to see Kryko not do that well after his qualifying. Kind of him sitting in P3, either he's deliberately sandbagging to stay in Tier 2, or this is just, he's amazing at qualifying in race pace, struggling a bit. Is Dylan there pulling into the pits? Immediately after being overtaken by Ids there, actually, as we see Tango on the back of DeWill. Man dropped off from his teammate. No, Tango, we see him there, cut in the corner a little bit, picking up a 3-second time penalty for another warning, and actually dropping off the back of the AlphaTauri. That's going to frustrate him a little bit. 5 penalties currently incurred, 6 penalties. No, it is still 5. It's just Jacob down in P13 now on 6 seconds. You can see here a reminder of who's got them so far this race. I'm gonna hop
now
back.
We see Nello on the back of T-Griff. Gonna try and go around the outside into whatever this turn is.
I'm gonna close.
T-Griff have... yeah, no idea. T-Griff has the inside, stays in P1 for the time being.
But again, this P1 battle really closing up between all three of them at one point. I think 1.5 seconds between Nelu and T-Griff. Now close that back down, giving him a little bit of a challenge again, reminding him, you know what, you've not run away with this, we're still here. Still going to cause you trouble. We're not going to let you build up that 3-second time gap that T-Griff sorely needs because of his penalty. Ooh, Zangan, what's this? Down to P4-5. No, that's a pit for D-Morts, so not an overtake. No, a VSC, there is a VSC. Who's that for?
I don't know what's happened. Why is there a virtual safety car? Oh, it's because D-Morts hasn't got a front wing.
Oh, it was D-Morts, okay. I thought it probably was because I saw him slow down. I wonder if that was into the back of another driver. But yeah, D-Morts replacing his front wing. Giving some drivers a free pit stop there. There's still VSC drivers. I have to make sure they don't get caught out by the Delta when the VSC is withdrawn. Keep an eye on the top three, how they manage the VSC being brought back in, what the time gaps are at the end of that, how much are they willing to push. It's the slow speed corners that will get you, but I think they'll be on the back straight, and here we go. No, VSC just flashed, but still very much there. And actually, hang on, Nelly Safi right on the back of Tigris here. And there we go, back underway. I see no penalties brought on, so Nelly Safi done a good job of playing that. It's a shame Vem wasn't on the straight, but of course still kept his distance right up to the back of the Haas. Still in the middle of the Haas sandwich, did a little bit closer to the front of it than the back of it.
Now see Hopsy. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, as you were saying, Hobbsy flying past reserve D-Morts. Seemed very clean overtake, got it done on the straight. Didn't catch the front of it, but hang on, what's this? Oh, Kryko into the pit lane there. First of the front runners to do so.
You're on the hards to the end, I reckon.
Yeah, 11 on the medium,
on the
17 on the hard. Sounds reasonable. There's Nelu really struggling there. You could see the dirty air affecting that car massively. Fighting it away, didn't let the car drop on him, but massively slowed down, and that's wonderful news for Kryko, who might come out in front of him. But actually the Haas also had to consider, they wanted to avoid the double stack. So it might have been Kryko said to himself, I'm going to pit lap 11 or 12, whichever T-Griff doesn't. Yeah, that gap
that might
building.
be a crucial point for Nelu there. Trying to fight the car through the S's.
And importantly, Kryko is in completely clean air. No DRS to help him, but not really under threat. He's got DeWill behind on mediums, which certainly is considered a little bit of a threat, especially given his tyres are already up to temperature. But if he can keep a nice cool head, then this could look in his favour. We'll hop on board with the front two once they get nearer to the pits and see, is this the lap they pit, or do they try and push it one more? I reckon Tigriff is going one more. No, he's not. He is coming into the pits, and Nelly Safi following suit right behind him. Okay, so if we hop on board with Kryko, when is he going to come out compared to these two? Of course, he's going to be behind them when they leave the pit. He's going to have that overspeed. Can he go for a move into turn one on on Tigriff? No, sorry, on Nelu Safu. Oh, he's flying past them actually.
Yeah.
Oh, having said that, has he got Tigriff? No, he's not.
There.
And DeWill actually
not got Tigriff.
DeWill's got Nelly Safu as well. So Tigriff maintains the net lead, but DeWill is ahead of Nelly Safi, which is very important for the two Haas cars, as that's one more person help basically shielding their 1-2. And that could help Tigriff build the 3 seconds he needs over Nelly Safu, so even if he's not going to get that first, because of his teammate right behind him, can still work towards that Haas 1-2. We'll see how much they're fighting here. That was a move that Kryko could have gone for, but chose not to. So I think we might see a move. Ennis on Legend, yep. Watch that on the timing screen. Actually, you can see it head down on the track there. But here we go. There is Kryko ahead of Tigriff, who actually, no, he's fighting it back. And all the while, DeWill sitting behind. So who's going to come out on top? Kryko is. DeWill, he settled in behind, decided, not my battle. I need my mediums to last, can't afford to fight too much. I'll just stand, hold my ground, and enjoy the live show right in front of me.
Yeah, fair enough. But yeah, that's critical for Kryko there. Of course, T-Griff with his penalty anyway, and now Legend has came into the pits, and as well as Tango as well. See where that puts them both. It might put him outside the top 10, and it has.
Yeah, so the race nearing its halfway point. When the leader crosses the line at the end of this lap, it will be the halfway point. So far we've just had a VSC from whatever Demort's managed to do, didn't quite catch that one. We'll assume wasn't anything too silly. Right, I'm going to try something different here. I'm going to see if I can set up a poll, if the people watching care, to see who they think is going to win. Now this might go horribly wrong. It does mean I'm not watching the screen, so you're going to have to pay more attention.
Alright, let's have a look, see if there's any battling. As we see T-Griff, Duel and Nelu fighting for P4 at the moment, or the Retinace. The race and that lead, I guess. But the moment, Strange and it's trying to make them mediums last as long as possible. Same with Ennis, trying to make them hard to make them last as long as possible. But the moment these guys are separated by a little bit, like 5 to 6 attempts each. But at the moment, Kryko is in DRS, almost in DRS range. I don't think he'll get it this lap. He hasn't. So let's go on board with T-Griff, the other Haas driver, trying to make a possible move on Kryko. Has he got the speed? No, he hasn't. Nelu Safu also trying to make a move, and Hopsy trying to go around the outside of Delano at the moment. And Hopsy has got the move done. Nice move from Hopsy there. Now we see Tango and AJ Wuhan fighting. And Tango is up to P11, Jacob down to P12. As now these guys, T-Griff and Kryko and Ennis, separated by 2 to 3 attempts each. Really close battle here for P3. Also the net race lead at the same time. As now Kryko, he might already have made the move before the DRS. He has. Kryko up to P3. And now we see T-Griff also up to P4.
Yeah, Ennis on his old hard tyres was really just a standing chicane waiting to be passed there. I think he did the poll correctly, yet to see anyone respond to it, so don't know. Of course, a lot of the drivers can be racing in tier 3 and 1 at the moment. This duel also passed Ennis, as is Nelu Safu. I think Ennis kind of acknowledging, this isn't my battle, I still need to pit. I'll let them through nice and easy. But it is still Kryko in the net lead. Strange, and it's still yet to pit. So at the moment, Kryko is the favourite to win in the vote. He's got 1 vote, everyone else is 0, which tells me we've done the poll correctly. No idea who voted, but
yeah, it was me. I was just testing if it worked or not.
Proof of concept, okay.
Critically, I thought Nelly would have gotten past Duel at the moment, but I guess Duel is still really good on them.
Yeah, well,
mediums.
If he's on the mediums, do not underestimate the Frenchman. Will knows what he's doing. If he wants to hold his position, if he wants to do a bit of an Albon and just use that track position to his advantage, he is more than capable of doing so. And no, here we go. Nelly though looking for a move here on Will. Not able to fight, actually doesn't even have the RS to fight it. Huge amount of overspeed there, and that is Nelly up into P5, up into net P3. Will, I do wonder how he's going to manage, how he's going to manage getting his tyres to the end of the race, or if he plans to make this a 2-stop. We will have to see with that front.
But Remember, does still have that 3-second time penalty, which
Yeah.
is kind of a crucial turning point, and Strange is into the pit lane. I wonder if he's going to do a risky strategy and go into the softs. He is, he's going
Yeah.
into the softs.
The Red Bull driver, the number 90, going on to the softs.
I think
See
Ids
Ennis
is going to
here.
do the same.
Nicely medium tyres there. So he's done hard medium, meanwhile Strange has done medium soft. And Ids, the mad lad, is still on his first starting softs, leading the race all happily there. And of course that is going to come away from him when he does need to pit, unless there's a safety car. But at the moment, quite happily just enjoying the view of no cars ahead of him.
I think Ids is going to do the same though, pit onto them softs. I don't know how much longer he can make them mediums run, but at the moment it's a very good stint from him, especially on them mediums, which he's been running on the whole race. But he could be pitting in the next, either this lap or next lap, I don't know. And Tigriff getting past Krico.
Yeah, now these two.
Timor's also getting past Delano.
Now importantly, those two fighting. Nelu has closed up, having got past a Will. So once again, our same with three drivers: Tigriff, Kryko, and Nelu Safu. All very close together, and all probably very hungry for the win. Just as I'm very hungry in anticipation for the pepperoni pizza I'll be eating after this race. But here we go. I think for P11. Legend round the outside of AJ Wuhan in that last right-hander in Sector 3, and my goodness, what a good job he's done. What a place on the hard tyres. I only caught the tail end of that one, but can be happy with himself
Strange
there.
now getting past Tango. Yeah, really nice move. That just shows confidence from Legend there. He's able to trust Jacob that he won't do anything like a stupid move, and he's able to go straight round the outside. But I was going to say, it's losing the rear end there in the final corner, almost going straight into the pit wall. I reckon he'll pit this lap to go onto the softs.
Oh, he's got a pit soon, doesn't he? Actually, Nolsey nearly an entire lap down that has just come out of the pit lane. So he's obviously going to go onto softs, because at this point you would. Well, probably going to go onto softs. But how much, if he goes one more lap, he could be holding up the leaders. I mean, he already might be holding up the leaders a little bit here, whether deliberately or not. Of course, unlikely to go into the win, or was Tigriff going very wide there, perhaps, I guess. I don't know, just honest mistake, braking a bit late, not turning enough. Didn't gain any time from it. We'll see here. Of course, the dirty air, wasn't really expecting it. So just a back marker. No, it's going round again. Doing another one. Right, let's see how the drivers behind find it. Actually, so much quicker through the corner was Tigriff. Nearly caught him in the corner. Tango picking up 3 seconds. Right, is Kryko near enough? No, he is not. Kryko may be stuck behind Ids through the first chicane. Essis is more penalties picked up. The two Red Bulls swapping places. Strange on the fresh softs, of course, going to be faster than his teammates. Here we go, Kryko here, stuck behind the man and old mediums. And really not much you can do other than watch that time gap between first and second grow further. You can see how much he's having to hold back there on the throttle.
Yeah, and Strange going around the outside of Demorts in turn 1, turn 2 even. Very nice move from him there in the Red Bull, obviously trying to fight back up to the top 5, and Krico critically getting past.
Yeah, and Nelu Safu
as well.
Following him right through there. Now more than the second gap, not within DRS range for the moment, and if Nelu causes him trouble, then that could potentially mean that those two are going to fight and lose ground. But both of them have shown they're pretty smart with how they race, so we'll have to see. Pay attention to that gap out the DRS detection zone. But that looks like more than the second to me. And indeed it is 1.2 at the line. So no DRS on the front straight here. But Nelly Safa's got it, and he's going to use it to try and catch up with Kariko. What can he do here? Decent exit, not amazing, but certainly not bad, given, yeah, in front of him, 1 lap, fresher, hard tyres. Is he too far back to go for the lunge? He is. Certainly reminding him, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. Best drive well. There's a notification there to get in the way of the timing board. You can see, actually 5th and 6th were very close together there. Strange moving his way up through the field on those softs. The group forming further down as Ennis and Ids coming out the pits.
I don't know. It's been a very quiet race from Carl and Jacob, as I just say that, Jacob.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Carl. But it's also been a quiet race from Nosy. It's like, we haven't been really able to commentate on them three because, well, they've not been battling. And Nelu is up to 2nd.
Oh, hang on, yeah, I missed that one. And actually, he's massively close down. I mean, I guess that's just the long back straight, the DRS, because the gap between 1st and 2nd is now only half a second there. So I guess Kryko giving Nelu a little bit of a slingshot to catch back up with that lead car. Neither of them wanting to fight for P2. They want to fight for the win. They know there's a penalty for Tigre. If they would have heard that by the race engineer, be well aware of how many warnings each of them have. I haven't checked myself, so I don't know. Actually, I probably ought to. But they want to fight for the win. They don't want to accept 2nd. They don't want to lose that 3-second time gap. And even more, if they can, they want it on track.
And the Will is coming into the pit lane.
Yeah, so he is going for that 2-stop we said might happen.
That's weird. I thought he would have been able to comfortably make them mediums go to the end.
Yeah, well, 8 laps left, so can do it nice and quick on the softs. Try and pick up the fastest lap. For that bit of extra pride point. Let's see, actually, is his teammate just behind him also on fresh softs? Are the two of them going to fight? I think they are going to fight here. It's the Dutchman, I believe. Apologise if I got the nationality wrong. Right behind his French teammate.
I think he is Dutch. I've now seen Nelu still trying to get past Tigre. Will he have it done?
Ah, I think he will.
Down the straight.
Flying
he's
past.
Got it done.
There's Nosy up ahead.
Speaking about Nosy earlier, he's gone into the barrier.
Hopefully that does not bring out safety car. He's back on track. I suspect a damaged front wing given where he was. Maybe mistaken with that one.
He hasn't got visible damage, luckily.
So, hang on. The two AlphaTauris are fighting down the back straight. De Will taking liberties on the apex of that corner. It seems to have got it, able to run to the end of the track, not giving De Will room on the outside to put his foot down, use that wider line to get that little bit more exit speed. I think Ids has come out on top of that. De Will still warming his tyres a little bit.
Tigre trying to get back past.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a retirement.
Williams and Nosy retiring from the Grand Prix. Bit of an unfortunate race from him. Very quiet as well, but hopefully we'll see him fighting back in Austria.
Yeah,
or
the first round of the season.
Next race. And now we see these top three being close all race. It's been a hell of a battle. We'll see if they can fight it out and get close. It's staying around 7 tenths, 6 tenths, down to 5 tenths. And
yeah, sorry to interrupt. Ids up to, but both Ids and De Will, I think, overtaking the legend, the Williams of the Williams of Legend. Yeah, so confused my brain there on the old hard
wide.
tyres.
Oh my god!
In the middle of an AlphaTauri sandwich, there is De Will, comes barreling over the corner, gives his teammate a little dink. He moves from P12 to P10. just a couple of
Was it
corners.
too wide for Duel? It's in Legend as well. I was watching Tango, Delano, and Morris. They were going 3 wide.
Yeah, no, Duilids and Legend were through. I didn't even notice the ones ahead.
Yeah, Tango, Delano, and Morris were going 3 wide.
I'll hop on board with that fight there and miss some action.
And something else we haven't noticed, Tigriff is right on the rear end of Nelu.
He is now. That isn't important in the first sector, as I've seen old hard tyres against fresh softs, and that's still not worked to get through in the first sector. But when it comes to that back straight, that gap being that small, that is something to keep an eye open for, especially when it's for the race lead.
The Tigriff starting the back straight. Still trying to get past Nelu for the lead. Excuse me. And let's see, will it happen?
Oh, considering, but no. Got it down to less than a tenth and a half, but in the end, did not happen. He might try it on the front straight. Needs a good last few corners here though before he gets there. I think already a small hiccup might make that distance slightly bigger than he wants it to be. As Ennis picking up 3 seconds. The other gap to watch actually is the gap between DeWill and Ennis in front of him, because those two AlphaTauris are both on fresh soft tyres. Probably the fastest drivers on track at the moment. I'll see. Fastest lap at the moment actually going to Strange and P4 on those softs. And do you know what? He's closing in down on the drivers ahead, I think. I think Strange is going to make himself a player here. And I'm not even sure if the others have realised yet, because I've only just realised that I'm meant to be commentating this race.
Yeah, honestly, because he was in 10th at one point when he first pit, or when he pit for them softs. I wasn't expecting him to claw his way back up to a possible podium. Nobody would have thought, but here he is. He's only 2 seconds behind Creco now in the Haas, and well, he could be on the podium come the end of this race, because at the moment, because of Tigriff's penalty, he will be finishing 4th.
Yeah, and also I think Tigriff missed out on DRS. Yeah, Tigriff will not be getting DRS this round. So he is burning his overtake, and Nelu Safu does not have much more to use either, or ERS I should say, not overtake. We'll see how that ends up playing out. My PlayStation trying to turn into a rocket ship here, hopefully not too loud on the stream.
No, looks fine. The stream looks fine for the moment.
There's a
Never see
battle.
the Lano Tango.
Yeah, it's that battle between the three of them we mentioned before. And hang on, D-Mort's having a sneaky little look. Going to come round the outside and go for a cutback, or is he just going to try and hold it round the outside? He is going to try and hold it round the outside. Not happening in the end. It's Kryko!
Ooh.
3 seconds of time penalties for the man we were originally predicting for the win. You voted for him to get the win. In the
Yeah,
end, not happening.
And now it's and Duel both getting past Ennis now, so then they are in the points now.
Yeah, we expected it would happen, and hang on, look at this. Strange. That gap to Kryko is nearly less than a second. He's currently looking probably for a P2. If these two in front of him can help him close down on Nelu Safu, potentially can fight for a win if this battle gets crazy enough. 4 laps to go, including the one they are on, and he surely wants to get within DRS range if he can. How's his exit to this corner? Small mistake, it's too much, he will not get DRS. The two ahead of him will get DRS. Not what he wanted to see. He needs to give everything he can before his tyre life hurting too much here. Now, see those so close there, and all of a sudden different players in for the podium. Kryko, the man who started on pole, the man we thought was going to win this, might not even get a podium.
It's a bit unfortunate though, but these three fighting
Ooh.
again.
Tango passed by Dylan on his left, D-Mort's on his right, and all of a sudden, hang on, 3 wide here. I would not go 3 wide there if I were you. That's not a good place if you want to keep your front wing, Tango. But in the end, D-Mort's getting the best of it Dylan gaining a place and then losing it, but to a different driver, and all this has allowed DeWill to catch up on those fresh softs, who himself has brought Ennis to the party, and all of a sudden, with 3 laps to go, there's a 6-car battle here for P6. Dylan, Demors, Tango, DeWill, Ennis, and Ids all here fighting for that P6. From there, Ids picking up 3 seconds at the back of this. DeWill and Dylan, the only ones not with penalties, they'll be laughing away here.
Oh no, He's out of the Grand Prix.
That's such a shame for him. Him and his teammate doing so well. There is Tango getting past DeWill. Now no safety car, I suspect, because we're near the end of the race. This battle's still ongoing. And Strange actually dropping away a little bit from the front 3. I suspect down to his tyres getting too old.
I think what happened there was Ennis lost the rear end a little bit and coming out of the corner and caught Ids by surprise, so Ids tried to avoid it, and then in the end he's just hit the pit wall, which is a bit unfortunate from the Dutch AlphaTauri driver.
Yeah, didn't catch that one. A shame for him, especially when he's involved in such a fun battle going on. So this battle here is still on going, and it's looking like at the moment Dylan is going to win it because of the penalties involved, the other drivers. Will though ride on the tail of Tango. He wants a chance to pass Dylan, because if he can gain, well, if he can get past Dylan, no matter who's ahead of him, if he can stay with this group, get past Dylan, that is P6 for him on those still pretty fresh softs. Could do with charging up his ERS a little bit more. Good exit to the final corner, but of course the driver ahead of him also going to have DRS. He's burning through that ERS. It's almost a waste because he's just not going to get ahead. Looking for a move around the outside, that's a great way to be shown off track, and yeah, that's exactly what happens. Not able to get the move done. Needs to be more patient here, needs to wait for the back straight. There's Tigriff getting another 3 seconds of time penalties. Kryko now forecast to be back on the podium. It is just the top 4 really in contention here, so Tigriff does not have to be worried about falling any further down than 4th, but that is a shame for the man who's led quite a lot of this race. Even better news for Nelly Safi, who now has a bit more of a buffer. DeWill looking for the outside here on Tango. They will also have a look at Kryko looking for a move on his teammate. Who's going to get it in the end? DeWill fighting here, 2 Mercedes cars. Actually, you know what? I think he's going to lose out to Ennis here. On the outside, boxed in by the Mercedes, and yeah, DeWill fighting Tango. Ennis getting the both of them actually. Tango remaining P9. DeWill looking for a move at the inside, not able to get it in the end. Got cut off there, not fighting too hard. 2 laps to go, those you really do want to be fighting hard. But who would have looked at those penalties? I don't know how much he's looked at them. Spoke to his race engineer, but certainly forecasts a good end result for him. It is still the same train going on here. Strange in P4. We're still keeping an eye on that time gap, and still not within a 1 second for that DRS. Would have made a complete change up front if he was.
That's another driver we haven't really talked about much in this race. Is he's just had a comfortable race. He's currently in 5th. Just comfortable, quiet race from him. Really, haven't seen much from him, but yeah, just quiet, comfortable race.
Hobbsy though is at risk of losing his P5 to Dylan. It's incredibly close, almost exactly 3 seconds gap between them at the moment. As we are now on the last laps, we are going to hop on board with Nelly Safu, watch him parade us round. You can see behind the Haas of Tigriff, not close enough to go for a move. He's certainly considering it though. Any driver would on that last lap. Just further down we can see DeWill and Tango fighting on the main straight there. We'll just watch that on the sideboard for now. Looks like DeWill is going to win it, and he's going to win it on track as well, not just relying on this penalty. It's almost so much more satisfaction for the drivers when they manage that. They don't just want to win, they want to win it on track. They want to be the first man to cross the line. It's the fuel light flashing, rounding the last couple of bends in the last sector of the pre-season test for Tier 2. Kota. Here we go. Nelu Safu in that Williams, and it looks like it is going to be a win for the Williams. Seagriff coming in behind, but Kryko and Strange knocking him down a peg. Strange, because of his penalties, or because of the other driver's penalties, getting P2. Dylan, will he best Hobbsy here? I don't think he quite will. I think he'll be just behind Hobbsy, maybe a couple of tenths, and he is behind Hobbsy. To Will 7, Timor 8, Ennis 9, and Tango 10th. All of that due to penalties shaking up the order a little bit. Legend appears to have ran out of fuel here. Does still get Tango though, just to the sheer amount of penalties that Tango had. Did not see how many it was in the end. Then AJ Wuhan coming home, P12, and what would be picking up 1 point if we were in the season, but pre-season testing, so not. And then Carl, the last man to cross the line in P13.
Well, a very interesting race. I wouldn't have expected Strange to get a podium, especially after him pitting and then being I think it was either P10 or P11.
I remember you saying,
good drive from him.
I think outside the top 10, so... No, I think I agree with you. Certainly the surprise of the race, and getting it in P2 as well, due to the Hasses picking up penalties. Nelu Safu, what can we say? Flawless race. Qualified P2, lost it originally, but kept up with those two Hass, despite being up against two teammates. Brought home the win in the end.
Very good race though. Lot of battles, which we like to see. We like it to be close, and we like it to have a lot of battles. So it's good. It's good to see.
Yeah, actually, so I'm watching back Ids and Ennis. Yeah, you were right, Ennis at a moment, and it just pushed Ids into the pit wall. Nothing he could do there. Fastest lap going to Strange, and he'll be happy with that one. I mean, he certainly wasn't expecting it. Judge Mowley is saying starting P10, in the end finishing P2 with fastest lap. So to give a quick rundown of the order before we run out of that 15-second timer. Nelu Safi, Strange and Kryko on the podium there. Tigriff P4, then Hobbsy, Dylan, DeWill finishing where he started. D-Morts, Ennis and Legend finishing out the top 10. Tango, AJ Wuhan and Carl, the last man to cross the line. Then Ids, Nolsey and Steiny all taking retirements at their respective times. Ids, not his fault, the other two pit lane retirements. He's just got caught up with Ennis. Nothing he could do there.
I'm still wondering what happened to Steiny, because he was just, for the first sector, he was stuck in second gear. So I don't know if it might have been a steering wheel issue or a gear issue, but it's very strange and unusual to see.
Yeah, I think pre-season race, I don't believe we're doing interviews. I mean, basically if we want to we can, but none of the drivers begging for one, and unless they're asking, I want my pizza. So, but nah, I mean, an excellent way to come back. Tier 2 in F1 23, and they have delivered some wonderful battles there at Kota. And next week Red Bull Ring, so plenty more big straights, DRS zones. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so am I.
But I think we are going to wrap it up, so I will actually I'll make sure to chuck the link for Tier 1 into the chat for anyone still watching. Go watch Tier 1. If you don't answer that, you will be receiving the link shortly, if you give me a quick second. I assume Tier 1 is live, yes. Believe Tier 1, yeah, they're on lap 12 at the moment. Actually, Nathan leading at the moment. Is that the CRL Nathan? Because he's not got CRL, I think it is. So AJ Wuhan, the man who got, I can't remember where he was, his brother currently winning in Tier 1. Going to rub it in a little bit, encourage the sibling rivalry. But there we go, that should be the stream there. Hopefully that link works for anyone watching.
That's not the right Nathan.
Different Nathan. I thought it was.
Yeah, it's different Nathan.
But anyway, I'm going to end the stream here, so thank you guys for watching. And from me and Jack, that is goodbye until next week.